Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 9% Show. I am your host, Steven Burton. And here at the 9%, we keep everything 100. If I haven't done it, going through it, or about to do it, it will not come out my mouth. And I am so excited for this topic today. We're going to talk about how I made over $300,000 in my first year in business. Now, I know that is a sexy headline and title, and most people just run with that and be all that. But I'm going to put a little asterisk on it and just preference this a little bit. The first thing I want to say is that that's a top line number, okay? That's gross, okay? Don't let people out there front like, don't let me front like I made $300,000 in my first year of business. Because if I did that, I'd be on the boat somewhere still chilling. But that was a top line gross number. Now, I was profitable within my first year in business. Actually, I was profitable like 4 or 5 months in. And interesting statistic that most small businesses that start off, it takes them about 2 to 3 years to become profitable. So there was a lot of things that I accomplished in that first year. And honestly, I've always been uncomfortable talking about revenue, talking about numbers. Like, it was super easy when I got my first sale and I'm posting everybody, I got a sale. I got my first $5 of, first, even for my first 1,000, I remember making a Facebook post, and people just love it. They like and share all this stuff, and they just like, oh, congratulations, Steven. But for me, it got a little more complicated, a little more awkward when you're really bringing home some major numbers. It's just not something you post about. Now, I know plenty of people do, but it's just never been my thing. And like the people that I know that's really getting it, it ain't never been their thing either. So in the 9% club, I gotta believe that real recognize real, okay? And so that's why I've never been comfortable sharing this stuff. But since I've gotten to this point in life, and now that I'm over here trying to share game and give you guys advice, I feel comfortable sharing some stuff that happened about 7 years ago, which was my first year in business. So I really thought back to this first year, and I'm like, how did I do this? Because I gotta be real and just, real with myself that like, I really did a lot of things against the grain. I accomplished a lot of things really early. And let me also say that everything wasn't as sweet as it's about to sound. Obviously, I went through the roller coasters of emotions. There was days where I didn't have a sale. There was days I did have a sale. On the days I didn't have a sale, I felt like the biggest failure ever. On the days I had a big sale, I was like, oh my gosh, we're killing it. We about to kill this thing. So it was emotional part through this. But, there were some things looking back on it that allowed me to have that success early. And that's what I'm gonna cover. Also, another thing that I really thought about when I was preparing for this episode, really starting a business from scratch, and also from a standpoint of awareness and like, no one knew I was about to start Perfect Tux. No one knew it. They didn't know I had an interest in fashion, and I will talk about my interest in fashion on another episode one time, but they didn't know anything about me. The most things people knew about me was that I was a music artist. I had a licensing and publishing company. I'm a gold-selling songwriter as well. We'll talk about that on another episode as well. But there was all these things that people knew me for, and Perfect Tux was not one of them. So I did not have a big old Facebook following, a big old Instagram following. I didn't have nothing to stand on. So this is really going to be a great episode for the people that are starting a business, or think you have to start a business and you have to have this big old social media following, or you have to be really a keen expert in that field. Now you kind of do, but I'm going to break down some things that kind of like, that's really going to hit home, I think. So just know that I did all this. When I say from scratch, like nothing existed. I started this thing. No one knew it was an interest. No one knew anything about it. And over that first year, and honestly, it wasn't even a full year. I launched in March of 2016. So it wasn't even a full year that I was able to accomplish all this. So how did I do it? Okay, how did I do it? Get your pens and pad ready. We're gonna put some nice points on the screen and all that good stuff. But in between time, I'm gonna talk about 6 key things that I felt when I look back on my first year in business that I felt like really made it possible to have the success that I had early. I also would say before I get started is that, like everything else with this show, it's authentic and it's my story. Okay. I'm being it real that a lot of this stuff might not work for everybody. I was very strategic about what I did, and it happened to work out the way I wanted it to work out, but I'm not giving you no cookie cutter stuff. Like, this is really about my story and really how I had a focus to go get it, and it worked out that way. So with that being said, let's get started on this thing here. We're gonna talk about number one, and number one is embracing the sink or swim mentality. Now, some of y'all might remember on my last episode, and I'm sure we'll put a link on this video about the last episode of when to know to quit your job to start your business. One of the points in that was I wanted to have that sink or swim mentality. When you quit your job to start a business, you have to be successful. Like, there's no turning back. Your back is against the wall. You have to be successful. For me, someone that self-funded the business, someone that there was no plan B. Like, I had a certain runway of money that existed for me to make it happen, and I really couldn't make any mistakes. Like, I probably could have made like two bad business decisions, and I would have been out of business. Just because from a cash flow standpoint, I didn't have enough to hold that down. I had to make money from day one, okay? From day one. So I really think back on like the success of that first year, really having everything to lose paved the way for me to be successful. So embracing that sink or swim mentality, what did that provide me? It provided a lot of headaches and a lot of mental problems. It took a whole lot to get over the daily, like I mentioned at the beginning, like if I would have a good day, have a bad day, like my emotions would be all over the place. But that sink or swim mentality forced me to get up every single day, and work all day for it. When I tell you all day, I worked all day. At that time, I did the customer service was me, the chat system was me, the shipping was me, the marketing was me. Everything about Perfect Tux was me. But it allowed me to keep my head down and just stay focused on the task. Like every day, and I know it sounds so elementary to like wake up every day and work hard till you get it. There's days where I was lazy when I woke up. But I will say my first year, there was not one day I was lazy. There was not one day because, again, I had to get it and I wanted that sink or swim feeling. What I also would say about this first point was that it's not for everybody. Trust me, it is not for everybody. Some people work good with that type of pressure. And I'm not saying that you need to quit everything and drop everything and risk everything to follow your dreams. But I'm saying the success I had that first year, that's what I did. Like, just keeping it 100. Like, that's how hard I had to work in that first year. So hey, I'm pro, back against the wall, good things happen. And I believe they will happen, okay? So number two we're gonna talk about is overcoming the perfection paralysis, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? There's so many times, so many people talk to me about an idea, talk to me about a concept, and they never start. They never pull the trigger because it's not perfect enough. Again, this is another basic point, but I really want you to dive deep in this. If I never started, I would have never had that first year. And even leading up to my launch date, there was so much stuff to do. My photos wasn't all perfect. Maybe all the descriptions wasn't there how I liked it. Maybe the website wasn't, how I wanted people to navigate the website, or it just wasn't as perfect as maybe I was seeing competition at the time and how their website was. It was just so much stuff, and there's so much natural human reaction because if you're starting a new business, you're looking at people that's done it. You're just like, you never really know what's going on. Maybe you're getting other people's opinions and they tell you an opinion, you go back to the drawing board and try to start it again. Don't do that. Don't get stuck in trying to start something for perfection. And let me tell you why this step was important to our successful first year. Because a lot of the customer feedback that I got while things wasn't perfect allowed me to make quick adjustments that then allowed me to convert more customers into sales. For example, one thing I noticed, we did a photo shoot with our product photos, and I thought everything looked good, everything from the top down, from the top to the, I'm looking at the suit jacket. I'm, normally looking from, about this level up. And I thought everything looked good. Everything was straight, clear photos and things like that. Wasn't really getting too many sales at the beginning, but there was one customer that inquired. Actually, they bought something. I still remember this. They bought something and they inquired about, they sent the email and they were like, I'm having a conversation with my fiance, and he wants to wear his pants like you have them pictured, and they're baggy, but I know that's not right. Something to that along them lines. And I had to look back at the photo, and I was like, sure enough, all of our pictures of the pants, they just look really bunched up and baggy at the bottom. And a lot of times, because during that photo shoot, I was just focusing for the top part. I wasn't looking at the full look. And I was like, well, dang, that doesn't look good. It doesn't look that flattering. And one thing you'll learn about e-commerce, and an important tip I'll say is e-commerce is all about perception. It's all about creating that value. How can you create value from a photo that whatever you're selling it for, it's worth that? Perception is everything. So your photos have to be killer, really basic stuff. But that feedback, that instant feedback that I got, I never would have known about it. So what did I do? I cropped out every single photo I had. I cropped them all out and just cropped them out from the bottom of the leg. Was it perfect even at that point? No. Could I do a whole new photo shoot again for all those photos? No, I wasn't about to do that. So, and then like I said, at that time I was actually doing, I still do actual photo shoots, but I invested in having a real professional photo shoot. It wasn't just no camera phone photos. Everything had to be high quality. That was part of my plan and my business. But, just that feedback alone allowed me to go into overdrive, fix all these photos, and then lo and behold, never got that question again. The photos looked even better. Then all of a sudden some sales start going. So if I never started, if I waited for things to be perfect, and even with things that was the last thing. I thought our pictures were perfect, but getting that feedback from customers, getting if you need to pivot a little bit or whatever the case may be, you might be thinking your thing's the hottest thing smoking since sliced bread or whatever the case may be. Once you find out and put it out in the market and you start getting that feedback and getting customer reviews and things like that, all of a sudden you get a new insight. So if you're able to quickly adjust, quickly shift with what's going on, because at the end of the day, it's not about you and your feelings. You can swear something's the hottest and swear something's gonna sell, but if it doesn't sell and people don't agree with you, that's what it is. That is straight up what it is. So trust me, get started. Don't hold yourself up. You need to get started and dive deep so you can start getting that customer feedback. All right. So number 3, okay, strategic market entry. Okay. When I say that, I picked the right industry. I picked an industry in the formal wear industry that was old and stale. My biggest competitors at the time didn't even have a mobile friendly website. And this is 2016. I'm not even talking about the 90s and nothing or early 2000s. This was 2016, not having a mobile friendly website. Also, all my competitors at the time, they used the same images from all the manufacturer images. They were just cutting the corners and they was having success in it. So no one really tried really hard, I guess, at that time. So they was able to get by with it. I would say a couple online rental companies, I'm not gonna give their names out there, ain't no sense of giving them no free pub, but They were bringing online rentals or bringing rentals online, which just started happening. It was really an industry that was old and stale, and I was able to, take advantage of that moment. I'm saying the right market entry because a lot of times when I say we, kind of speaking to black folks right here, we oversaturate ourselves in certain markets. Beauty, hair, certain type of clothing, certain type of fashion. I remember when I was, when I first started Perfect Tux, I would tell people about my business and I would tell them what I do. And always the first thing they would say, tuxedos online? How did you get into that? But I guarantee you, if I said I had a barbershop, they'd be like, oh, okay, cool, okay, all right. What's your hours? And so but when I said about this tuxedo thing, people were perplexed. They was like, how? They didn't see nothing in it. But if I drop, even to this day, it's kind of funny. Even to this day, I'll get that. But let me drop, we've had over 30,000 customers. Then all of a sudden, everybody ear perked up like, oh, really? Tell me about it. That's good. That's great. Congratulations. They say all that stuff. But I knew I was getting into an industry that I could get into and from day one compete. I knew that. That was part of my plan. I picked this industry, I picked this type of business because I knew I could get in. And so my thinking even at that time was that when I thought about tuxedos and everything, I thought, you know what? No one's ever heard of a tuxedo brand before. But if it's time to get a tuxedo, the most people probably heard about is like, I'll say their name, I don't care, but Men's Warehouse. They've only thought about Men's Warehouse. Like when you talk about a tuxedo, I gotta go rent a tux Men's Warehouse. Like they don't know nothing. My hypothesis, my thesis at the time was that no one knows anything about it. And if I could position myself in the market, as long as my website's legit, the name's legit, the photos are crisp, everything looks good, people don't know if I started last week or if I started 5 years ago. It was just everything was to a higher quality than all my competitors. And we had a goal to make the online shopping experience for formal wear the best it could be. That was our goal. That's what drove, and don't get it twisted. When I say us, I'm just so used to saying us now, it was me, okay? It was my goal to make everything about this experience great, okay? There was no team. Again, I gotta specify, there was no team. But I knew all of this stuff about the market that I just felt in my soul that we could really take advantage of the moment and really go after it. And that's what happened. And so picking the right industry will be key to having that quick success. You might, with your business idea, you really want to sit down and I know the book says, pick a business you're passionate about. Pick a business that you find a problem and you want to solve this problem. Okay, that's great. Not saying that's wrong. But for me in my year and how I made $300,000 in my first year, I was strategic about what I picked. I saw it like I worked backwards. I said, you know what? I can disrupt that. I can do that better. Let me create it and let me get in there. And then I figured out the rest later. I did not know who my target audience was gonna be. I didn't know the style of suits and tuxedos I wanted to sell. I didn't know our niche. I didn't have I wasn't fine-tuned on the details of the inner workings of the business when it came to the customer standpoint. But I just knew from an overall in the formal wear industry, it was an industry that was outdated, old and stale, and the hardworking Steve could dominate it quickly. And sure enough, it pulled off that way. So really think about your market when you're really like thinking about starting your business or going into that first one. Okay. So number 4, building trust and credibility. I kind of touched on how I think at the beginning I said like, I started this without any foundation in fashion, no social media following, no anything. So one of the biggest hurdles in that first year was building trust. And an important key with e-commerce, like I said, was that perception of true value on a product. How do you control that perception? But the other side of that is, how do they trust they can buy from you? They like, I remember one of my first customers' phone calls. They were like, I like this tuxedo. I'm saying they're like, everything's great. It looks good. But I just had to call because are y'all really real? I Googled you and, nothing comes up. And I'm like, I forgot what spiel I gave them to make them feel better. I don't think there was too much I could say. But the fact of the matter is, yes, sir, I just hit the launch button 3 days ago. Of course we're not on Google. Like, we're nowhere. Like, and so there might be someone out there that's wanting to start a business and you get intimidated by the fact of like, oh my goodness, we have no footprint out there. And so the solution there was we needed to make that trust and that credibility by hook or by crook. I needed to get that credibility. So this is when your friends and family comes into play. And what did I do during that time? Oh, every single person I knew, hey y'all, can you write a review for Perfect Tux? Can you please write a review about Perfect Tux? How it's just so great. Please do this. Please do this. And I got, a quick 10, 15 reviews on, a free review site. And at least it was something that eventually after a couple months, when somebody Googled Perfect Tux, honestly, before even Perfect Tux ranked on Google, the review page that I found that I started putting out my reviews to, they ranked for Perfect Tux because they had more site, their domain was longer. They've been in the game for a long time. So like anything that was on their website would show up a lot quicker. So like, honestly, the review site was the first thing they saw. So it was important for me to get those reviews up, again, by hook or by crook. It was important for me to start really building my social media following. Again, friends and family, follow this page. To this day, I don't think we do. I mean, our social media following is pretty solid, but I kind of have a love-hate relationship with social media. I think too many people kind of like depend on that, or they feel like they don't got that. They think their business won't be successful. And on the flip side of that, I think they depend way too much on it. Like that's the only way to get a sale. Everybody is not on social media. Everybody is not on Facebook. Everybody is not on the internet. You can make sales happen a different way. Or if these social media sites did not exist, do you have enough skill to your entrepreneurship to know how you go sell something? Can you sell water to a well? Like, how you going to go get it? So, but for e-commerce and being a strictly e-commerce, 100% e-commerce business at the time, we had to build that trust and credibility. So that was a big key to it. And honestly, that was a big hurdle for a long time. For a long time, that was a big hurdle. I would say until we opened our first store and showroom, once we opened that up, we magically stopped getting, do you guys exist? Are you based in China? Are you really going to give me our products? All this type stuff. Like, we no longer get those questions. So then that was literally just a year ago. So trust is a long-term thing. And also, like, I know it sucks with reviews and like sometimes you can't make everybody happy. And like, I remember when I got a negative review for the first time. Right now, if I get a negative review, we want to respond to it, but it doesn't bring me down as much. But when you only got 10 reviews and someone got the nerve to leave a negative one, I couldn't even sleep that night. Like, because I got a bad review and it was so much BS, but we ain't gonna get into that negativity. But like, you're gonna have to do whatever you can to go above and beyond on your customer service, on your shipping, there might even be a bad situation that you just might need to take an L on because you don't want them to leave that bad review. Like, it just is what it is. That trust and that credibility is gonna be so important. I also think what falls in line with that is the quality of your website, the quality of your product, the quality of what you're selling. Like, at the end of the day, if you're selling crap and people are getting that crap and they don't like that crap, and then they write a review about that crap, you can't really complain. It is what it is. If your website looks like a second grader made it, or your photos look like they from the camera phone, or it's dark photos and this and the third, like, who is gonna order from your website? You need to act like from day one, you are Amazon, you are the Gap, you are Old Navy. Actually, Gap and Old Navy is websites I used to look to at the time and be like, okay, how did they do it? I would always look to other people's websites or $1 million company websites or VC-backed venture capital, VC-backed websites and see what what they did. And I would try to copy that or make sure my images looked as crisp as that, or whatever I took from that, from the slider, whatever I took from that. I just made sure that everything about Perfect Tux was legit. We also had a customer service phone number, a toll-free phone line. I hate websites that don't have ways to contact. You just putting up email me, let alone with a Gmail account. Like, you ain't even got your domain on the email. But like, all of that stuff is building trust and credibility. Why would somebody shop from you if they don't know anything about you and it's just looking bootleg? It can't look bootleg. You have to go above and beyond. I don't care if your 800 number goes straight to a voicemail where they can leave messages. Matter of fact, back in the day with my hip hop wear website, I'll touch on that in future episodes, but I started an e-commerce business when I was 18 years old, straight out of high school. back when I didn't even know what e-commerce was, there was one point I had a toll-free number and it literally went to a voicemail only and I never checked it. But I was young then. But I mean, you need to get back to customers. You need to do, but what I'm saying is all that stuff matters. And you have no excuse nowadays to not have all of these things aligned for a customer. You need to be lowering the barriers, lowering the hurdles to complete the sale. Don't sabotage yourself by not doing the things that you can control, okay? And the little things you can control them. Build that trust, build that credibility. That's how you convert sales, okay? All right, on to number 5, okay? Target the right customer and understanding their behavior, okay? Now I know that sounds simple. Well, maybe not the behavior part, but target the right customer. Obviously, you want to target somebody that's interested in formal wear. You want to target somebody that's about to get married. No, you don't. No, you don't. That sounds like the plan, huh? Pump the brakes. Let me tell you what it is. I had a strategy of, I used to call it high intent, ready to buy customers. That's who I focused on. Did you know, give you a random tip about Perfect Tux. When you think tuxedos, when you think formal wear, when you think suits, what do you think? Do you think wedding? Do you think grooms and, groomsmen and that type of stuff? Did you know I didn't advertise for weddings or the keyword wedding for like literally 4 years into business before I finally did that? Did you know that? I know you didn't because this is the first I'm telling you. But I did not market that because it was such a broad term and a competitive term that I needed to really hone in on what I was trying to target. I'm coming from the digital marketing space, so that's how I see things. Like I said, it was e-commerce. So paid per click advertising, mainly Google ads, even Facebook ads to a degree, but for me, Google ads was a big driving force for me to focus on high intent, ready to buy customers. And what do I mean by that? Going even deeper. Again, I might not have marketed towards the word wedding, but if somebody said, oh, I'm looking for a blue polka dot tuxedo. If I was selling a blue polka dot tuxedo, I made sure that for those 10 people looking for a blue polka dot tuxedo, I was the main one they saw. Oh, I went hard on that keyword. I'm gonna bid a little bit more because the fact of the matter is, if you're searching for a blue polka dot tuxedo, you really want a blue polka dot tuxedo. There ain't no reason why you searching for that term unless you really want it. Like no one's just casually searching for that. Now, on the flip side of that, what about blue suit? Now, when somebody's searching for a blue suit, there's all these terms out there, all these things out there. And then I'm going to spend some money and get in front of this guy that's looking for a polka dot suit just because he searched for blue suit. And he's going to click on my website and I don't even have a polka dot suit, but he had blue suit, blue suit, blue suit. So you see what I'm saying? There's a difference between that broad, and we're going to dive into this on a future episode. We will really dive into like digital marketing and pay-per-click ads and Google ads and things like that. But what I'm saying is I really took the psychology of how people search, how people think about stuff. There's a term called long tail keywords. Those are the things I focused on. Like no matter your industry, if you don't have the money to compete from day one, if you ain't got a limited marketing budget, like you have to be really specific about what you're doing. Because the thing about pay-per-click ads and Google ads, Facebook ads, you can spend a whole lot of money and waste a whole lot of money really, really, really quick. Okay, you could do it really, really fast. So you really need to know what you're doing in that point. And if you care about your marketing dollars, if you ain't got unlimited marketing dollars and you care about your return on investment, you have to be specific about who you are targeting and target the right customer that's ready to buy. So, and this goes for anything, especially like I said, I'm speaking towards e-commerce because obviously we started as an e-commerce company, but there's so much things I could think about. If I sold golf clubs, if I sold golf clubs, let's say I sold golf accessories. I would not, from day one, I would not target a golf club. I would not target, I don't play golf, so I don't know why I picked this as an example, but just really broad or basic terms about that. If I didn't have unlimited funds, okay? If my funds was limited, I would say, you know what? whatever this specific putter for a right hand, a left hand, or whatever people are searching for those type of things, that's what I'm targeting. Get real detailed, get real honed in on who you're targeting, because those are the people that aren't casually searching for something. Those are the people that are specifically searching for something and have a high intent ready to buy mentality. And those are the people that will go into your website and convert fast. Because the fact of the matter is also, another random tip, is that the average conversion rate for e-commerce, for an e-commerce store, is literally like less than 3%. If you can get 3%, you running home to you celebrate, you popping bottles. Like just think about that. 100 people come to your website, you hope 3 will buy. Sometimes it's about 2%. I mean, like that's what's crazy about when you think about this long game. So just because you're bringing a whole bunch of traffic, or maybe you're doing ads that's bringing a whole bunch of traffic, and you're just saying, wow, this isn't profitable. Maybe that's why. Maybe you're focused on way too broad of an audience. Hone it in. Focus it down and focus on those, and then watch your conversion rate go up, okay? So that's a major gem there. Also, well, before I go to the next one, I also want to talk about just behavior a little bit more. When it comes to e-commerce, or when it comes to anything, I would say in business, but with e-commerce, don't be lazy about things. Don't be out of the box solution. Granted, you can make a website, you can make an e-commerce store easily, go to Shopify, click a couple buttons, drag this over here, drag this over there. There you go, you're in business, congratulations. Don't do that. What caused me to make money in my year 1 was the fact that I really thought about customer behavior. And let me give you a little gem here. We go put it on there. Check out Hotjar.com. Okay, Hotjar.com is a great website, a great tool that allows you to record visitors on your website, so you could actually see them. You can play back the video on how they're using your website. I'm talking if they're on a desktop computer, you can see the mouse moving. If they're on the phone, you can see them swiping and whatever they're tapping. Like, that is so much valuable information. What if you find out on your website, on your page, on your product page, that no one is scrolling down to read your description? Like you spend all this time on the description, like, oh my gosh, the way I describe this product, you go buy this thing. What if you realize no one's seeing it? And then you're sitting back saying, wow, no one's buying. What if all it took for you, since that description was so important to you, why your product is different from your competitors, what if all it took was moving that description from here to here? But then what if you tried to do it and your template just didn't allow it? What would you do? You have to go the extra mile. If that's your customer's behavior on their website, if they move left even though you want them to go right, you need to adjust everything left. You need to find a developer and make something custom for you. You need to do what you need to do to adjust your website to the behavior of your type of customer, okay? So that was another part of what made my first year so successful, was that I adjusted, and I wasn't stuck in a box of a template. I did whatever I had to do. I spent the money up front to make, there's so much stuff I did, but like, heck, even from a drop-down menu and the size thing, it gets really complicated with formal wear and 6-inch drops, and maybe we'll put a definition of what 6-inch drop is on the bottom of the screen, but like, it gets really confusing buying formal wear online. But I took it, it wasn't just small, medium, large, extra large, and like just some basic stuff, but that's how everything was did. I needed my thing to say, okay, 40 regular jacket, 34 waist pants, and this back pants, and like, I needed it to be clear so a customer could understand what they're clicking when they click it. I didn't need a customer to have to email us and say, oh, I don't understand. How is this? Or how does this work? Or how does this work? Again, you want to lower every single hurdle for them to complete that sale, okay? So understanding your customer behavior, understanding how people shop on your website is so important. You want to adjust to that and do everything in your power to adjust. If you got to pay for some stuff out of pocket, if you got to pay for a custom developer just to do that quick little thing, go to upwork.com, find you somebody outside the USA. They'll do it for dirt cheap. Do what you have to do that, okay? Don't live in a template box, because it's not for everybody, especially if you got a unique business, okay? So let's get into the last point. Number 6, okay? You need to be a versatile entrepreneur. versatile entrepreneur. I kind of touched on it at the beginning of this, and I said, oh, I did the customer service, I did the shipping, I did the marketing, I did all this type of stuff. But you know what else? Let's keep that list even going even further. I also did the graphic design. Okay, I knew how to work with Photoshop a little bit. I also did some of the coding on the website. Also some basic stuff. I took HTML class in high school, and I still knew some stuff. I don't even know if they still call it HTML, but I took that stuff. I had a knowledge of a bunch of stuff. I knew how to do my digital marketing game was strong. All this psychology stuff I talk about, I naturally had it. I don't know how I had it, but I naturally had this stuff. One thing I really didn't know very well, I had to learn quickly on, was digital ads and Google ads and how to make those profitable. That was a really, really hard thing to learn, but I overdrived. I bought books. I looked on YouTube. I was just really trying to master that skill. When you start something, especially when you got limited funds, maybe you're a solo founder, maybe you're doing everything yourself. Doing everything myself allowed me to be profitable, because when you need to have other people do it, you have to pay them. Like, no one's going to do stuff for free for you. And if you do got that, bravo. And, hopefully you can keep honing them, keep them people in your side pocket and keep coming from that. But as much stuff as you don't have to outsource, like, I was able to do everything in-house. I wasn't just great at every single thing, but I was good at every single thing. I was really good at every single thing. So not having to outsource a lot of stuff really helped my first year. Okay, it really helped my first year become profitable. And I get it. Everything I'm talking about right now, you might be saying, well, I don't have all those skills. I can't wear all them hats. I can't do this. I can't do that. And okay, this is the 9%. We ain't fronting over here. Maybe it ain't gonna happen for you, like exactly me. But the whole beauty of this is I'm telling you my story. I'm telling you what worked for me. And if you don't have this skill set, it's okay. But there's things you can take from all these points I just broken down. Take the nuggets and apply them to yourself, okay? Apply them to yourself and take everything I'm giving, because there's nothing stopping you from having a quality website, okay? You might not be able to develop the website, but there's nothing stopping you from having one, okay? So you might need to invest in that or whatever the case may be. So those are the 6 steps. And you know what? It's so funny. I go so fast. Y'all probably think this is a prop. Trust me, it's really something I could drink. It is my favorite cocktail. And I always forget to drink it because I be talking so much on y'all, but I feel so motivated. But what we're going to do right now, since we're at the end of this discussion, we're going to take a toast for the 9%. And I want, if you're at home, grab whatever you got and let's get to the 9% club, because that's what it's about right now. Okay? So toast with you. Whew. I needed to quench my thirst a little bit. But anyways, we are done. I hope y'all got a lot out of this episode. As always, please leave your comments in the comments below. I will check them out. I will read every single one of them. Trust me, I'll probably reply to every single one of them because I really appreciate all of y'all that watch this. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Again, you will make it to the 9% club because you go keep watching these videos and I'm going to keep breaking this game down to you. Okay? I'll see you in the next episode. Be good.